True. Hey, you guys, this I've been waiting on. Okay, I have a whole series of podcasts I want to share with you. Number one, since everybody's talking about it, the election. Okay, I tried to stay away from that, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I don't advocate voting. Okay, and I didn't advocate it in 2020, and I really don't advocate it now. And I got a feeling that you're going to see why. Because I, when I had said, black men don't vote, because the temperature of black men, see, most of you don't interact with black men from an intellectual standpoint. You watch videos of these so-called justice fighters and all that kind of stuff. Those are performers. You watch athletes and entertainers, and most of you wouldn't even stomach 5 minutes with somebody like me. Now you're seeing that the majority of us have turned off on the election. And also all they want to hint about is the black man, the black vote, the black men voters, okay? Because they know that they're not inclined to vote this time, and for good reason. Okay. Now, I know y'all want to bring up the bullshit about, oh, voters' rights and all that, and how you weren't allowed to vote or whatever. 1965 gave you rights to vote. Well, in 1974, that civil rights bill that you guys always love talking about, it had to be ratified every 10 years. So in 1974, they did not ratify it. It went, and it still has not been ever signed. But one time, that 10 years played out, so you're not up under any kind of civil rights mandate. You're not up under a voter's rights mandate. Why do you think they keep uh, gerrymandering? Uh, once your boy won the election in 2020, 28 states called emergency session to bring to curtail voter rights of voters in their states. 28 states, okay? And your boy Biden could have stopped all that with a presidential order for a voter right act. He didn't need Congress and Senate for a voter right act. He could have did that presidential, okay? He could have did that all himself. He didn't do that, okay? And you got to understand the reason. Because I want you guys to understand something. Y'all talk about the left wing, the right wing, the far right, the far left. When you see an eagle soar in the sky and those beautiful wings are stretched out, notice I use the eagle. He has a left wing and a right wing, and he has a far right and a far left, and they all belong to the same goddamn bird. The same one. That bird flies together. They're united. Now, instead of you talking about vote for this guy because he's not a criminal, okay, he's your only chance to vote, or vote for this guy, the criminal, because he's not senile like this fool, okay, that's your choice. That's the choice they're giving you. It has nothing to do with governance. It has nothing to do with vote for this guy because he's going to do what? None of them offer you anything. Their agenda is the same. Okay? You don't bring in the Israeli army. They call it Israeli Defense Forces. You don't bring them in and train police all over major cities in the United States for war because they've never fought a war. Them some bitches been holding no Palestinians in prison for 78 fucking years. They do urban combat. They fight people that don't have guns. They kill people aimlessly, imprison them aimlessly. They've been doing that for 78 fucking years. They're here to show these guys how to do it, how to handle civil unrest with a heavy hand. They, you think that's big shit because they done called in a government's army, military force to train police. To train them to do what? We got the best goddamn military in the world. You want some training on war tactics? I would go straight to the U.S. Navy and the Marine Corps. But no, that's not what it's all about. It's about you. Okay? So, you live in a bubble. Okay? And your adversaries are in a bubble. Left wing and right wing is in the same bird, and they're in there under a bubble. They're living under a bubble. And you need to remove yourself from their bubble. And the moment you do that, you will understand where I'm coming from. Okay? Because, see, I don't protest. I don't believe in protesting. Protesting is asking somebody for something. Protesting is begging for some type of leniency, some type of good treatment. So I don't protest. I take what I want. I always have. I would not be here living on a tropical island watching the sun set and rise and set if I was some pissant some bitch that walked around with his thumb up his ass talking about, yeah, do. I don't do that. I don't talk in ebonics. I don't talk in slang. I speak straight to the damn point. And if I want something my way, I'm going to get it my way. And if a some bitch get in my way, then I take him down the country road to the boneyard. And I put him in the dirt and have him feeding worms. Period. That's my directness. So that you understand. And that's why I know I scared shit out of you. But it's going to be me you're going to be calling for in November, okay? But I'm already be there. That's why I'm doing the podcast now. I'm not doing it for money. I don't need your damn money. I got money, okay? I eat every day, okay? What I need is for you to listen and say, hey, I got an old uncle that man needs to talk to because that man talking about taking my old uncle and bringing him to the Philippines, sitting down, having a council meeting with him. That's all I need, about 20 brothers. 20 of them my age. Just 20. That's it. And what's going to happen is we're going to come to the senses of starting what I want to do, which is have town hall meetings all across the country. Schedule them week after week after week after week after week. We're not going to be paying attention to elections or Supreme Court rulings or anything like that because those things don't affect us. They never have. I have never lived in a democratic society. Ever. You remember, I don't lie to you. And you haven't either. You live in a terrorist society where terrorism rules. Black woman on TV the other day saying, I had a talk with my son. I had that talk as soon as I gave him his driver's license, feeling like she had really done something. She conceded to the fact that her and her son have to live in a terrorist society. They have to live in fear every time he leave that house, whether or not he's going to come back alive. Because he could be stopped by the police and they decide to kill him. Nothing going to be done. What? They prosecute, 2, 3 policemen a year? With thousands of you guys getting taken out? Thousands. They do 3 a day. There are 3 a day of you that are being taken out. And white aggression gets even more than that. Y'all don't realize white aggression. That's why they will not, a prosecutor in the United States will not come down on anybody for killing a black person and call that a hate crime. They do not charge hate crimes in the United States of think there was 8 hate crime charges in 2023. We won't be able to count 2024 until we're in 2025. But 8. You realize the thousands of black people who fell victim to white aggression? You know, Karens are white aggression. That's called white aggression. Okay. Um, Going to a restaurant and having a police called on you. That's white aggression. Okay. There's all forms of white aggression. Having a next door neighbor you feuding with, and they come over and shoot and kill you, and that's happened 15 times in the U.S. in 2023. Neighbors, white neighbors killed black neighbors, and white neighbors never got arrested. Never went to jail. Understand something, okay? They're in a bubble because they think that all this hoopla they're doing over elections and this and that, that's going to make life so much easier for them. The world has gotten smaller, okay? Because Africa and Asia do not want global white supremacy dominating them and ruling them, okay? They're through with it, okay? Thailand used to be the biggest tourist attraction in Asia. In 2013, when I came here, Thailand was it. I stopped in Thailand first. Oh my God, tourism all over the place. Now, Thailand, let one of them suckers cross the street and he ain't supposed to. They throw him in jail. They snatching them up. They're being very rude and shrewd to the Westerners. They call them Euro trash. Okay, that's their term for it. Google it, you'll find out. Okay. Them old boys went up there in Cambodia with yellow fever. If you don't know what yellow fever is, Google that. That's when these white guys, they think that Asian women, that they could just get them and just beat the shit out of them and do whatever they want. And they tried that shit in Cambodia. Cambodia came down with strict laws. You cannot have a relationship with anybody 10 years your junior or 10 years your senior. Got to be within that 10 years. Can't be over that 10 years. Period. So if you think you're going to be 50, 60 years old with that 21-year-old, Cambodia throw you in prison. They call it child sex trafficking. That's the law. Okay, they're getting fed up. Okay, Africa, my God, Kenya. The mess in Kenya right now is because the government's trying to tax the people and give free trade to Europe, which means give Europe all their goods and services. And those people is like, oh, hell no. I'm paying extra taxes to feed Europe because Burkina Faso said, fuck no, we're not giving Europe a goddamn thing. And all the other nations is jumping in, Sudan and all of them, and they're all saying, fuck Europe. See, Europe's getting ready to fall right with the United States. They help put together at the hip. And I just love the fact that Netanyahu is doing what he's doing because he's going to bring them all down. You know? I had a buddy one time, a group of us. That little short sucker, he was the shortest one, the weakest one, couldn't whoop a wet fly. And that some bitch, we went out. We was stopped in Los Angeles. We was in the military. Stopped in Los Angeles. We didn't know where the hell we was at. We ended up over there in Compton, in the Watts area, I guess. And because we wanted to go to a house party. We here in Scuttlebutt, there's a house party. We go and we all in uniform and stuff. And there was these old thugs. And they had hardware, okay? Pistols. And that fool sitting up there cussing them out. And we standing up there, we ain't got no gun. We outnumbered. And he running his damn mouth. About to get us all jacked up. If it wasn't for about 2 or 3 paddy wagons pulling up, I might not even be here today. Okay? Them paddy wagons pulled up. And when they pulled up, them dudes took off running. We stood our ground. Shoot, paddy wagons didn't even bother us. Cops didn't even bother us. Went chasing them fools, dragging them, throwing them in the paddy wagon. But you better believe When we got back to the base, because we was what is that, Travis Air Force Base or whatever. We went to the base. I'm telling you about stuff 40 years ago. We went to the damn base, and I snatched that little son of a bitch up, boy, and I went and I threw his ass from one room to the other. And the rest of them went punching on him. About to get us killed with that stupid mouth. But that's Netanyahu. He having fun killing and murdering all the Palestinians. Man, there's some hardcore people running around there that saying, buddy, you done made this thing a little too personal. You trying to annihilate a whole race of people, and we ain't having it. So see, in the United States saying, we're standing with Israel. That's not Israel, that's Palestine. There is no Israel. You go and look at the map in 1945 and you won't see Israel on any global map anywhere. They created Israel by killing 3 million Palestinians and moving them people in and told them, okay, you guys could live here and call this Israel. And we'll give you nuclear weapons and we'll give you everything to protect yourself because we want a white presence in a black land. That's what it is, global white supremacy. White people, what are white people doing down there in that part of the country? Some people black as coal, look like me, shoe leather black. And you got these snow white people and all they do is hate and kill, hate and kill. What they did in every country in the world when they went on their world tour, or when they went to Africa, they went to the Americas, and they went to the Asians, and they just slaughtered. Boy, what they did to Oceania, if you guys ever read about Oceania, my God, how about New Guinea, New Zealand, going up into the Philippines? Man, they didn't stop killing. I think it was 1903, the United States went to war with the Philippines. And I don't know the general's name. You'd have to Google that. I don't know it right offhand. I'm an old man. I'm 65, y'all. But that son of a bitch came over here and killed 3 million Filipinos. 3 million. Rumor has it, the scuttlebutt has it, that he only killed 2 million, but another million died because they couldn't get them in the ground to bury them fast enough because they died from the disease, bodies, decaying bodies. I mean, they slaughtered them. That was at the turn of the century, 1903. They went down New Zealand and cleared it out at the same time. Okay, people black as coal, look like me. Papua New Guinea. They didn't get all of Papua New Guinea because they were hard fighters. Okay, they still haven't gotten Papua New Guinea. They are down there fighting right today. They have Indonesian men and they have New Zealand. They're all down there fighting the people of New Guinea. Okay? This is factual shit. This is happening today. They're getting ready for y'all in the U.S. though. But remember, they're in a bubble. They don't see global. Okay? They think global is Europe and America. That's the little bubble that they're living in. Outside of that, a lot is going on. Okay? And one of the things that I'm most proud of is the fact that China and Russia, Brazil, South Africa, India, they have a problem with global white supremacy. And so they're going to destroy its currency. That's what BRICS is. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And 14 other nations have signed on to BRICS. So now they're going to join together and challenge the U.S. dollar. U.S. dollar has 206 countries that they're trying to manipulate, okay, and charge off. But more and more are signing on to BRICS because BRICS is making sense to them, okay? So understand that bubble, understand what's coming, and understand what I seek to do. Because back in 1995, it was an accident that Farrakhan mentioned that shit about a million man march. That that was an accident. He didn't mean that shit. He's been CIA all his fucking life. He didn't mean that. But them young brothers at that radio station he was at, when he had said that, they took that doggone bone boy and they gnarled that sucker. They went everywhere. They started talking. And you guys, that was before internet, the way you know internet today. Okay? Them brothers was just going back and forth. And within days, I heard about it in St. Louis, the call for 1,000,000 man. And that was months in advance of October when we did get there. October 16th, I do believe. Understand that what I'm calling for, it doesn't matter whether you okay with what I'm saying or not. I don't give a fuck. That's why I'm not asking you for hits and likes and all this type of shit and listen to my podcast. I want you to hear enough of my podcast so that you can call Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe, listen to bro, man. Okay? Because see, when I was 9, 10 years old, talking like I'm talking now, I was called crazy by my family, friends. But thank God I had a mentor. My mentor was, ironically, the uncle of Martin Luther King, Joel King. My grandmother hadn't come talk to me because my grandmother, she was old school. She believed that a kid who had the intellect to see things and talk about things that on an adult scale, she thought I'd be killed. White folks snatch me up, take me and kill me because that's what they did during slavery. Okay, when you were a prodigy or a savant, the only savants that was allowed throughout slavery was those who were blinded, okay, that had special talent, or those who were autistic that had special talents in music. You could not be talented in mathematics or physics. See, I memorized the periodic table before I even went to high school because I heard that if you knew the periodic table, you'd never be without a goddamn job. So I memorized it. And never was without a job. You know my atomic weights and all that shit. Okay. Worked in nuclear medicine. So I know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay. And I knew then I was learning. I was like a sponge for knowledge. Totally militant. Okay. As a kid. But my grandmother, she feared they'd find out and I'd be uppity, labeled uppity or arrogant, and they'd take me out in the woods and put me on a tree. And so she called her friend. They were friends. Joel King. She was good friends with him. I guess she met him. Her and her sister met him when he first came to my hometown, Mansfield, Ohio. And he's a young preacher, and he was on the run. Okay, he had buried 3 Klansmen in the Carolinas. I think he was in. He's from, y'all know his family. Him and his brother. They look like twins. Martin Luther King Sr. He left Georgia, went to the Carolinas, I guess, to preach or do something, and he ran bad with the Klan. Okay, had some bad blood with some of them, and he ended up killing them and burying them. Told me that I buried them son bitches, and told my grandmother. My grandmother knew it. She's like, and I guess that's why she wanted me to talk to him because he could rein me in and talk to me and share a lot with me. But I remember the first day I met him. I remember he asked me. He said, "Sister." That's what he called my grandmother. That's how I knew he was a good friend of hers. Nobody called her sister, but people who was way back friends with her, right? He said, "Sister, tell me you got a bunch of questions for me." I was 9 years old, you guys, and I looked at that man. I said, I says at Mama's church, and which is my grandmother's mother. She took us to church that Sunday, and I told him, I said, the preacher said that Jesus went out in the wilderness and the devil tempted him and offered him ruler of the world, to be the ruler of the world. And the preacher said, Jesus declined. And I said, well, I want you to tell me who accepted to be the ruler of the world. And y'all, at the time, and I wish you knew this man's posture. He was big, right? Big, heavy set old dude, right? Mixed gray hair, he had his beard was just skinny. Okay, he didn't have any hair here. He had the beard was just skinny and a little sharp, little mustache, right? And I guess he was drinking some Kool-Aid at the time when I asked him. And the man started choking on the Kool-Aid. He sat back and looked at me. And then he looked at my grandmother. And he said, me and him need to take a ride. And my grandmother, without even saying anything, just kind of smiled, shook her head like I told you, And I went and got in that big old Cadillac with that man. And he took me to Dairy Queen. We had ice cream. And he talked to me. And he told me who rules the world and why. He said, yes, Satan does rule the world, but he has, it's done by proxy. He says he has minions working for him. He said, he went and threw a penny on the ground. He said, now you see that penny I threw on the ground? He says, Satan cannot pick that up. He doesn't have the power to pick that penny up. But if Satan wants that penny, he's going to entice you, me, or somebody else to pick up that penny. Satan can't do a damn thing unless we do it for him. And so I understood from that moment going forward that my actions were going to be for good or for evil. Okay, there's no if and buts about it. And I knew that the forces of evil ruled the world. And who they happen to use, my white brethren, and they are happy to be in Satan's army, doing what they're doing to the world and to God's people. And so all I'm saying is I'm going to put a stop to that shit, or be one of the helpers to put a stop to that, because I don't believe in it. I don't like evil. I hate evil. I hate injustice. I don't like bad people. And I will spend my life fighting against all of that. So if you have a problem with it, you might want to look in the goddamn mirror and pray to God that I don't have a problem with you, because I only have a problem with you. I'm going to sign off for now. But tell Grandpa, Uncle Joe, tell them come in and have a squat with me. And I will fly them to the Philippines to sit with me. Okay? It will be a we thing, because as soon as we call the first town hall meeting, I will guarantee you 1 million black men are going to show up. 1 million. It's not even a protest. There's no reason for policing to come out and want to fuck with us, and they won't, because one thing we will all say is, everybody bring your heat. Come packing. Because you're freedom of assembly. You're not protesting a goddamn thing. You're speaking. You don't have a voice. Nobody wants to hear you talk. And they want to talk. So it's not for you. Okay? It's to get shit done right. And I'm the one to do it. And I'm going to be one of 20 to do it. So tell them, give me a holler on all of my podcasts, except for the first one. But all my podcasts have my email address. Write me. I answer all emails. And if you have my phone number, I answer all phone calls. Hey, I love you.